Well, welcome. I look forward to working with you. This is the first YouTube of which you will have probably 4 more that introduce you to and provide you with a kind of conceptual overview of Introduction to Educational Leadership. We are 601.W09. The syllabus is there. It's been there now for a number of weeks. You can get the books that you need. It's the Northcote book on leadership. It's also the Bowman and Deal Reframing Organizations. To a certain extent, these are both classics. You will be hearing much about both of them, not just in this course. So there are certain books that I don't mind if you get rid of, but those 2 are not books you ought to get rid of as you get ready to write comps. It may seem like it's a long way away, but it isn't. That time will go faster than mist on a summer morning. Look forward to working with you. I'll be communicating with you pretty regularly with email. Yeah, I am not someone who feels that you need to sit around at a somewhat inconvenient time and look at me over Adobe. We will use Adobe. I'll be sending you an email asking you what's a good time, and within reason I'll try to adapt to that, but we're only going to use it twice. When it comes to office hours, some of my colleagues use Adobe for office hours. Office hours are usually, in my 40 plus years, almost 50 years of experience, are usually individual kinds of things. And so what I've done is given you my home phone number, my cell phone number, my office number at Morgan. I can usually answer those questions far more precisely, working with you, as they would say in Spanish, mano a mano, and not worry about somebody else hanging around you waiting for a time to get on. You may call me anytime. I suspect you'll do better with the cell during the business day and the home number in the evening, only because the system at Morgan leaves a lot to be desired. If I'm physically in the office, I seem to get messages. The phone seems to work. And you have my office hours. I'm in the office from 9 to 3 on Mondays, and then from 9 to 1 on Tuesdays. And the other times you can call, and that will not be a problem. I promise you, if you have to leave a message, I am known well for responding to messages very quickly. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. I said I'm going to post here, and my purpose, again, I'm being a bit reiterative. Purpose of my posting is to synthesize for you the content of each module. Not that what I say is the sine qua non of everything, but I want you to have my sense of what I see. I would hope that you would see things differently, complementarily, I hope, based on your experience. And believe me, if you follow the great thinkers in education, this is a collaborative experience. I'm not a big pitcher filling little pitchers. I am a facilitator of your learning. And I do expect to learn from you. Okay, we do things a little differently at Morgan, but I'm very comfortable with them. There are content objectives for the entire course. The way this is a kind of, there are 3 or 4 of us teaching the course. We all use the same basic syllabus, and we use module objectives. Those, in my experience, and in my work as an accreditor for Middle States, those would better be called student learning outcomes when we talk about accountability and assessment. But that's okay. What I'm asking you to do is to get those objectives, those course-wide objectives, pretty much in your head or on a piece of paper, so that every time you open a module, you look back at the content objectives and say, okay, how is this module going to develop in me the skills to demonstrate that I've mastered that content objective? That is very important, because when we go before Quality Matters, which is a national certifying procedure for distance education, you will be contacted, and these kinds of questions will be asked. Okay, one of the other things that's listed, because the gentleman who put the module together likes it, says ask questions at the water cooler. That's fine. I don't have much insight into that thing one way or the other. You may use it, certainly. In fact, I encourage you, if that's the best way to do it, do it. If, however, the question you think has general applicability to everybody else, please put it on Blackboard. That way, I don't have to answer the same question 2 or 3 times. And finally, if it is a personal concern, comment, or question, I'd prefer you come to me directly with email. That way I can deal with you directly. I'll give you perhaps a broader, more precise answer than I would trying to go up either on Blackboard or in responding to the water cooler. Okay, enough of that. One of the things I found interesting, I did make a few minor modifications. When you use getting started, there are two things I want you to think about. The first has to do with, there's a very large spread in there on Blackboard, how to use it. I would assume, since this is your second course in our program, that you pretty well understand how Blackboard works. But if you don't, you are doubly blessed. First of all, we have an individual at Morgan, Karen Rubenstein, who is very good. Karen has been sort of my mentor as I've chugged through a lot of this stuff. At the same time, Karen is a student in the program, so she is very understanding and appreciative of people having questions. All you have to do is go to the Blackboard, the introductory Blackboard piece, and you'll find out how to get a hold of Karen. One of the things I like, I think it's handled very professionally, is the timetable. The minute I saw it, I ran it off. I carry it with me along with the syllabus. That way I know exactly at any given moment in time, if you call me, if you email me, exactly where you're supposed to be and what you are supposed to be doing. So you ought to do exactly the same thing. I think it would be very, very critical and helpful if you did that. Now, something else I think you need to do. I think it is important that you go to resources. That is an addendum piece to the course. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's all the way at the bottom of the operational code that comes with our layout on Blackboard. One of the things that is there is a series of PowerPoint slides. I said I made slight modification of them. I thought that there were some things that could be made clearer. And make a long story short, and more visually attractive. I want you to go through that. I think it's a very helpful idea of giving you a gestalt of what we are trying to do here. We're trying to bring you up to speed, everybody in the cohort at the same place when it comes to understanding the basic theory of leadership. Because remember, this is the CCLDP, Community College Leadership Doctoral Program. So we assume that all of you will be leaders. You will need to know, as you will quickly find out when you read Bowman and Deal and when you read Northcote, that you will be both a leader and a manager, and that you will be a hybridizer. What do I mean when I say you'll be a hybridizer? Excuse me. There are lots of schools of thought out there. Some we don't even include. There are others that you may have a favorable orientation toward that we don't use. That's okay. What you need to develop, remember, one of the first of the content objectives is that you have your own pragmatic theory of leadership. It has to deal with a variety of things. It has to deal with visioning. It has to deal with reconstructing, as our friends Bowman and Deal say. It has to deal with problem solving. It has to deal with the human interaction. And you'll see a lot of models for all of this. And you'll gain a lot of insight about how you yourself function. One of the nice things about the gentleman's encyclopedic textbook that you're reading is that he gives you pretty useful examples of all of these things. A little bit later, I'm going to give you a supplemental place you can go with many addendum materials. You may not even have time to look at it in this 5 weeks, but make a note somewhere. I was introduced to it in a postdoctoral seminar at Villanova. I thought it was great. I continue to use it with students in other courses and with you. Okay, one little mechanical piece that goes with this. Oftentimes, when it comes to trying to open these things, you may have to click on open in a new window. I'm not totally sure. I understand why that is. There are a couple other things. I tap into like Firefox. Other people use Google Chrome. And I don't care. As long as you get it open and get it covered. You know, and it's already been stated in almost every module, we expect when you send material to us that it should come as Word attachments. That way we can use all the wonderful tools to provide you with electronic feedback. The electronic feedback is much more efficient. You don't have to wait. I never liked teaching 1 day a week classes because the kids had to wait a full week to get things back. And I think you sometimes forget why you did what you did if you have to wait that long, I promise you. You will get this stuff back. My target is 48 hours. And you can hold me to that, put my feet to the fire. Look forward to working with you. I'm only as far away as your email or your cell phone or whatever phone you prefer to use. Look forward to be working with you on a very regular basis for the next 5 weeks.